I may have bitten off a little bit more than I can chew with this whole reselling business, but it's been fun. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Brandon from GOTB Gaming and Collectibles, and basically right now, this is just me starting out a business idea and wanting to bring you along. Been very, very big in my collectibles, but now it is time that I start reselling some of the stuff, and I kind of got the idea that I want to actually do a collectibles business. So, big purpose for me is kind of getting a lot of these things into the hands of people that want to be able to appreciate them, since I no longer have the desire, or they just don't move me anymore. I still got quite a bit of stuff that I do want to keep, but there's quite a bit that I've outgrown, and I'd much rather have that go to somebody who actually wants to appreciate it. That's kind of my purpose. So if you're excited and you want to kind of see the whole growth of the business, like and subscribe, and let's kind of get into what I'm doing today. So right now it is Friday, July 3rd, day before 4th of July, and I got 16 orders of just cards, and it has been an interesting experience, because all I did was start posting up bulk cards. I've posted up a couple rare cards and all that too at some points, and I didn't expect how many orders I would get off bulk. I price them fairly competitively, but also not super cheap either. I got a lot of dollar cards on eBay that I sell for $1.99 to cover shipping, but I keep it as free shipping, so it allows me to make the little bit of money, but also be able to move the cards faster, and I didn't realize how fast that would be. On top of that, I underestimated a lot of the cards that people would end up liking, which some of them are surprised. So it's actually really, really cool being in doing this, starting this, because as I go through these bulk cards, as I start posting them up, I start to see kind of what people like, which I never would have guessed. Esper is a big Pokemon for people. I'm used to the classics: Pikachu, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, pretty much all the starters, Mewtwo, Mew, any of the mythicals and all that, but I'm starting to find like just random ones that happen to be somebody's favorite Pokemon. So that's been fun. So just putting those up. And then on top of that, what I am learning now is go through your listings with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that the title is correct. Because there's often times where I've listed it, and sometimes I'll rely on like the eBay sell one like this kind of AI usage on there, and I think that I've corrected it. And then I go to post it, somebody ends up buying something, and then I realize, oh shoot, that is not correct. Like for example, I had somebody who put in an order for a Pyroar Hollow, but I actually ended up posting the reverse Hollow that I have. So in that situation, I could have either send either or. I decided to send a message to the buyer to kind of let them know, hey, I made a mistake. I don't know if you were looking for a hollow or if you're looking for the actual pictured reverse hollow. So I'm still waiting for a reply on that. So if they don't reply within probably by Sunday or so, then I'll probably just send out the reverse hollow that's pictured, because I want to make sure that they are getting what they exactly saw. But, in case they do, I actually have the right hollow. So definitely pay attention to the listings. Gosh, some other things too. Getting ahead of orders. It is very, very, very easy to become overwhelmed. Like I said, I got 16 orders. The other day I ended up having like 22. And I'm slowly starting to map out timing to where, okay, I'm going to spend time actually printing out the orders and then packing them, and then kind of mix that in for the rest of the day, because before it was order came in and I would just go pack it and then I'd go send it literally the same day. Not gonna be able to do that if I keep receiving 20 plus orders. But yeah, definitely been a fun experience. If we wanted to get into financials, I made a couple $100. I want to say this week is $200. That is that is after shipping fees, eBay fees. Not counting the supply fees quite yet. I do have that in my accounting and on that, but the supply costs right now, I'm not gonna equate into the net sales. So net sales right now is about $200 for the week. Last week was $500, so we're kind of on track. I'm hoping by the end of July, I can at least have a $4,000 net sales, because then that shows me the growth of the business, shows that I'm doing stuff right, especially by my customers, because that's kind of the big thing that I want to do, is make sure that I'm doing things right, as anybody should. The other day, I kind of ran into that same issue once again with the listing, where I listed it as lightly played, but however, the title still had a near mint in the title description. So I ended up getting the order. I noticed that immediately as I was pulling, and kind of just messaged my buyer and was like, hey, listing wasn't right. It wasn't near mint. I did post it as lightly played. So I sent him a picture of the card and I said, if you don't want it, I completely understand. That is my mistake. I'm going to go ahead and take it down and relist it, or revise it with the correct title on there. And my customer was like, nope, all good. Even the picture that I sent didn't show anything. So now on top of that, I did have my first refund last week. It was on the card, and it kind of goes with the listing thing. I did post pictures, and I did say the card was lightly played. Most of my cards are lightly played because they're coming from my collection and I didn't really play them. I just stored them. So I know personally that they weren't heavily damaged or anything. They were just pretty much stored. Customer bought an Esper, another Esper from the Generation set. No, sorry, it wasn't Esper. It was the Slurpuff. And they got the card, they received it, they opened it up, and then they sent me a picture with the sides, kind of lightly whitened, and they said I wouldn't consider this lightly played. So I apologize for that. I may have missed while I was packing it that I gave them a non-lightly played, even though everything should be lightly played. And then as I looked at the picture after the refund, it made me question, would this not be considered lightly played? Because it wasn't damaged on the back, it was just a little bit of whitening on the side. So I did post on Threads. I did ask a question to a couple people, posted the picture, and said, hey, I'm used to a little bit of whitening on the corners, on the sides is lightly played. You know, it shows that it has had some usage, or it's at very least, in my case, has been stored. And most of the comments that I got, actually, I believe all the comments I got, pretty much agreed that it looks lightly played. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's near mint. It doesn't mean that it's moderately played. Just that looks like the example of lightly played, which is what I had initially felt. So I've been trying my best to just make sure I'm covering all bases with all my customers. I know as I grow, that's not going to be the case. So I really want to make sure I'm making this impression for the small amount of people that are actually supporting me now, because I don't know what the future is going to hold. I'm hoping with my game plan and what I want to do is we keep the consistency of everything that I'm doing in the orders, between the packing, between the shipping, between the listing, and then also the contact with all my customers. Because I don't want to do this and do wrong by anybody. I am here to be a collector, but also to get collectibles into the hands of other collectors that want to appreciate them. With that said, I'm not I'm not going to be surprised if anybody wants to try and resell stuff. They go and take the card and then they go get it graded and then they resell it. Like, I'm not going to be surprised at that at all. But yeah, so right now I'm just packing some cards. Got an event to go to, so got to get this done. But yeah, that's kind of just my update on some things that I learned this week. So let me know in the comments what other things I should go over in this. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that are kind of doing the same thing and just going over their financials or going over their sort practices, which is something that I'll probably go over in a different video because I have the worst sorting system right now I have learned. So yeah, like I said, like and subscribe, follow me for that, and come with me on this journey. Let's make this a big thing. So peace and love.